My husband looked at me over dinner and said, I invited my old friend to our family's Thanksgiving. She's going through a tough time. I'm Hannah Mitchell, a high school teacher in Chicago, married for 4 years. That moment, 2 weeks before Thanksgiving, hit me like a punch. His old friend I knew, he meant someone from his past, someone I'd heard about but never met. We were supposed to spend the holiday at my sister's house, a big family feast with my parents. My sister and her husband, turkey pumpkin pie, the whole deal. I'd been planning my contributions, excited for a cozy night. But this felt off. Why didn't you ask me first? I said, trying to keep my voice steady. He shrugged, cutting his steak, not meeting my eyes. It's not a big deal, Hannah. She needs support. I thought you'd be okay with it. His tone had an edge, like I was overreacting. I forced a smile, said, sure, fine. But inside my stomach twisted. Who was this friend and why was he so casual about inviting her to our family's holiday? I'd always trusted him, but something about his words didn't sit right. I wasn't going to let this slide, not at our family's Thanksgiving. That night sparked a chain of events that turned our holiday into a scene no one will forget, exposing truths I never saw coming. That evening, I confronted Ryan in our living room. He was sprawled on the couch, scrolling through his phone, acting like everything was normal. Ryan, why didn't you tell me about inviting your old friend before deciding? I asked, my voice tight but calm. He barely looked up, just shrugged. She's just a friend, Hannah. She's had a rough patch, and I thought it'd be nice to include her. Can you not make this a thing? His words stung, like I was overreacting, like I was the problem. I pressed, it's our family's Thanksgiving. You should have asked me. He sighed, put his phone down and gave me that look, the one that said I was being unreasonable. You're blowing this out of proportion. I'm just helping someone out. I nodded, biting my tongue, but my mind was racing. Something wasn't right. Later that night, my friend Jason called. We teach at the same high school, and he's always had my back. Hannah, you need to know something, he said, his voice low. I saw messages on Ryan's work computer today. He left it open in the staff room. They were from his old friend, and they didn't look friendly. My heart sank. I drove to school where Jason had stayed late grading papers. He showed me the laptop still logged in. There they were, messages between Ryan and his old friend. They reminisced about college days, late-night talks, things I'd never heard about. Ryan complained about our marriage, saying it felt stifling. Then I saw her message, I miss how easy things were with you. My chest tightened, a mix of anger and hurt flooding me. Ryan's reply was vague but warm, encouraging her. They'd been texting like this for weeks. I sat there staring at the screen, feeling my world shift. Jason put a hand on my shoulder. What are you going to do? He asked. I didn't have an answer yet, but I knew I couldn't let this pass, not after seeing those words. By the next morning, I was determined to uncover the truth. Those messages on Ryan's laptop kept me up all night, their words looping in my head. I needed to know who this old friend was. Sitting at my desk with a half-drunk coffee, I opened Instagram and typed in a few guesses based on Ryan's college days. It didn't take long to find her Claire, a freelance photographer with a grid of moody skyline photos. Her latest post mentioned starting fresh after a breakup, and the comments pointed to someone named Megan tagged as her best friend. I clicked Megan's profile, a graphic designer with a sleek portfolio linked in her bio. They'd been tight, maybe more, but the breakup was recent. My stomach knotted as I realized Ryan's support story wasn't adding up. I found Megan's email in her bio and sat there, fingers hovering over my keyboard. Part of me hesitated, was I stirring up trouble, but I couldn't ignore what I'd seen. I wrote to Megan, introducing myself as Ryan's wife, explaining that he'd invited Claire to our family's Thanksgiving without telling me. My heart raced as I hit send. Hours later, Megan's reply popped up. She was stunned Claire hadn't mentioned the invite. She swore she was done with Ryan after their history. Megan wrote her words clipped. She agreed to come to my sister's house for the dinner, saying she needed answers too. Then she dropped a bombshell Claire had promised her months ago to stop contacting Ryan after their breakup. That lie cut deep like a blade through my trust. Megan and I were in the same boat, both blindsided. I thanked her, confirmed the details, and felt a fire ignite inside me. Ryan and Claire thought they could hide this, but I was ready to lay everything bare at that Thanksgiving table. The week before Thanksgiving, I played along. I stood in our kitchen mixing batter for pumpkin pies, the smell of cinnamon masking the storm inside me. Ryan thought everything was fine, and I let him believe it. I'd confirmed with Megan she was coming to my sister's dinner ready to face Claire. But I kept that secret locked tight, wearing a smile as I chopped pecans. Ryan, meanwhile, was glued to his phone, texting Claire constantly. I caught him grinning at her messages, his fingers flying across the screen. "Work stuff?" I asked, casually stirring the batter. He mumbled, "Just catching up with her," and turned away. My blood boiled, but I stayed calm, focusing on the plan. He had no idea what was coming. "I met Jason for coffee that Tuesday, needing to vent." He leaned across the table, his voice steady. "Hannah, you've got this. Stick to the plan and don't let Ryan see you're rattled." I nodded, grateful for his support, but my mind kept replaying Ryan's text to Claire. They weren't just friendly, they were cozy, intimate in a way that made my skin crawl. Later that week, I overheard Ryan on a call with Claire, laughing about some old college story. He sounded happier than he'd been with me in months. I gripped the counter, my knuckles white, forcing myself to stay quiet. Every chuckle from him felt like a jab, but it fueled my resolve. I wasn't just baking pies, I was setting the stage for a reckoning. By Friday, I'd finalized the details with Megan, keeping my emails short and discreet. Ryan kept planning the dinner like nothing was wrong, even suggesting Claire bring her camera for fun family photos. The irony almost made me laugh. I packed my pies, checked my resolve, and told Jason I was ready. This wasn't just about Thanksgiving, it was about exposing the truth. Ryan and Claire thought they could hide. On Thanksgiving morning, we arrived at my sister Sarah's house. I carried my pumpkin pies, the ones I'd poured my anger into while baking, and plastered on a smile. Sarah greeted us warmly, bustling around her dining room, oblivious to the storm brewing. Ryan set down a bottle of wine, acting like the perfect husband, but I knew better. Claire arrived soon after, her camera slung over her shoulder, all smiles and confidence. She hugged Ryan a little too long, her laugh echoing as they swapped stories about their college days. I clenched my jaw watching them, but kept my cool. "Great to meet you," I said to Claire, my voice steady, despite the knot in my chest. She grinned, oblivious, and joined Sarah in the kitchen. Sarah's husband and our parents were charmed by Claire's easy chatter. "She's so friendly," Sarah whispered to me, arranging plates. I nodded, biting back the truth. Claire and Ryan sat close at the table, reminiscing about old professors and late-night study sessions. Every shared laugh felt like a jab, but I sipped my water, eyes scanning the door for Megan. Claire reached out, touching Ryan's arm as she teased him about some prank they'd pulled years ago. My fingers tightened around my glass, but I forced a chuckle, playing the part of the unbothered wife. Sarah's husband joined in, asking Claire about her photography, and she lit up, showing off her camera. Ryan beamed, hanging on her every word, more engaged than he'd been with me in weeks. I excused myself to help Sarah with the turkey, needing a moment to breathe. In the kitchen, I checked my phone. Megan had texted, confirming she was on her way. My pulse quickened, but I kept my face neutral, stirring gravy as Sarah chatted about holiday plans. Claire's laugh rang out again from the dining room, grating on me. I wasn't just hosting a dinner, I was holding the pieces of my plan together, waiting for the moment to unravel their secrets. Halfway through dinner, the doorbell rang. I stood, my heart pounding, but my face calm, and opened the door to Megan. She stepped inside, her expression, sharp eyes locked on the dining room. "Thanks for coming, Megan," I said, guiding her to the table. Sarah looked confused, her fork pausing mid-air. "This is Megan, a friend," I said smoothly, watching Claire's smile falter. Ryan shifted in his seat, his brows furrowing. Megan didn't waste time. "Claire, you told me you were done with Ryan," she said, her voice cutting through the chatter. The room went silent, all eyes on Claire, who froze her napkin, crumpled in her hand. What are you talking about? Claire stammered, glancing at Ryan for help. He opened his mouth, but I cut in. Ryan, why don't you explain the messages you've been sending Claire for months? I asked, my voice steady, despite the fire inside me. Sarah gasped, looking from me to Ryan. He sputtered. It's not what you think, Hannah. We're just friends catching up. Megan scoffed, stepping closer. Friends don't hide months of cozy texts, she said, pulling out her phone. You promised me you'd cut contact with him after we split. You lied. Claire's face reddened, her excuses crumbling. It wasn't like that, she mumbled, but no one bought it. I pressed on my gaze, locked on Ryan. You complained about our marriage to her, didn't you? Said it was stifling. His silence was answer enough. Sarah's husband muttered something under his breath, and my parents exchanged stunned looks. The truth spilled out like wine on the tablecloth Ryan and Claire had been texting behind my back, rekindling something they swore was over. Claire admitted she'd reached out first, despite her promise to Megan. The air grew heavy, the warmth of Thanksgiving replaced by raw tension. I stood tall, my voice unwavering. You both thought you could keep this hidden, but not anymore. Sarah reached for my hand, her shock clear, but I felt a strange relief. The lies were out laid bare for everyone to see, and I wasn't backing down. After the silence settled, the fallout began. Sarah's face was pale, her eyes darting between me and Ryan. How could you do this? She snapped at him, her voice sharp with betrayal. Her husband shook his head, muttering about trust, while my parents stared at Ryan, their disappointment heavy. Claire grabbed her coat, mumbling an apology, and slipped out the door. Megan followed, her expression cold, saying she'd had enough. The dining room felt hollow, the remnants of our Thanksgiving meal scattered like broken promises. I couldn't stay there surrounded by the wreckage. I grabbed Ryan's arm, pulling him into Sarah's guest room. We need to talk, I said, my voice low but firm. Alone with Ryan, I faced him, my heart heavy but resolute. Tell me the truth, Ryan. All of it. He paced, avoiding my eyes, then sighed. I got caught up with Claire, he admitted. It felt good to talk to her again like old times. But I swear, Hannah, it wasn't physical. His words stung, confirming the hidden connection I'd feared. You shared things with her you wouldn't share with me, I said, my voice shaking. You made me feel invisible. He reached for my hand, but I stepped back. The betrayal wasn't just the messages, it was the secrecy, the ease he had with her. Sarah knocked, checking on me, her concern softening the moment. I'm okay, I told her, though I wasn't sure. My mind churned, weighing our years together against this fracture. I thought of our home, our routines, the life we'd built. Could I trust him again? I didn't know. I need time, Ryan, I said, finally, my tone steady, despite the ache. This doesn't just go away. He nodded, his face crumpled, but I felt a quiet strength. The truth was out, and I wasn't the one hiding anymore. Sarah hugged me as we returned to the table, the family's eyes on us. This wasn't the end, but it was a turning point, and I was ready to face whatever came next. The days after Thanksgiving were quiet, but heavy. I sat in our living room staring at the photos on the mantel, Ryan and me smiling oblivious. My heart felt bruised, but something in me had shifted. I wasn't the same woman who doubted herself weeks ago. I met Sarah for lunch, her worry clear in every glance. You're stronger than you know, she said, squeezing my hand. Jason called later, urging me to take my time, deciding what came next. Their support grounded me, but the choice was mine. Ryan had moved to the guest room, his apologies constant, but hollow. I told him I needed space to see if he could rebuild what he'd broken. He nodded, promising to try, but words weren't enough anymore. I thought about Claire, her lies, and Megan's courage in facing them. That dinner had cracked open my world, exposing truths I couldn't unsee. I'd gone from suspicion to confrontation, and though it hurt, I felt alive in my resolve. I wasn't ready to forgive Ryan, not yet. Trust wasn't a switch I could flip. It would take time, effort, maybe more than he could give. But I knew my worth now, and I wouldn't settle for less. Looking back, I saw how far I'd come from sleepless nights to standing tall at that table. It wasn't just about catching Ryan, it was about reclaiming my voice. If I've learned anything, it's that you can't hide from the truth forever. Lies might feel safe, but they erode everything that trust, love yourself. Facing the pain head on, as messy as it was, made me stronger. I realized self-respect is the foundation you build on, no matter what breaks. To anyone watching, I'd say this: don't shy away from hard truths. They hurt, but they free you. You deserve honesty from others and yourself. This Thanksgiving didn't just expose Ryan's secrets, it showed me who I am, and that's a gift I'll carry forward, whatever happens next.